Hi, I'm Eddie the Tattooed Realtor. Be sure to subscribe or like this video, or both, or comment below so that you can stay in tune for the additional awesomeness that will come down the road. So press the subscribe button below, like it, share it, comment. That'd be absolutely amazing, and I'd be really thankful for that. So the video today is about, so you want to become a realtor. In real estate, I have seen a track record of people doing well or failing. Some people can kind of do it like half-hearted, where they do it right down the middle, part-time. It's difficult, but it is possible. But I want to make this video so that it gives you all the points of view that I've acquired and all the insight I've acquired over the last 7 years plus of being in the real estate industry. So to give you a little bit of story of where I came from, I was teaching full-time in high school, a history teacher, and I met my financial earning ceiling, if you will, very quickly at a younger age. And I also, being a student of history, I realized that most of the influential people, or the wealthy people also throughout history, had something to do with real estate. So it just so happened that our realtor that helped us find a rental encouraged me to get my license, and then the rest is history. Of course, I feel God was leading me in that direction because of where I've come so far being an entrepreneur. So I'm gonna lay out a couple points that you may wanna consider before jumping into the realtor world. Now, this is also for those who are a realtor currently. Maybe you're feeling a little discouraged and you have to really rethink things. This is here for you as well. So let's jump straight into it. You have to consider all the points of view of becoming a real estate agent or a realtor, whatever you want to call yourself. Because when you consider all points of view, meaning like consider the income, consider, your time, consider your ability to learn new things, or your desire to learn new things, your people skills. Do you have an entrepreneurial spirit? Are you familiar with, running your own business? Because essentially that's what you're doing. So all these different points of view are going to help you kind of get a well-rounded idea of whether or not this is the right move for you. Now, I encourage you to give this full thought. If you have any questions or comments, leave it down below, and I would be more than happy to chime in. And of course, in the description is all my contact information, so you can text, call, or email. I will pick up my phone or respond to the email. Once you've considered all possible points of view, you also want to consider your options. What I mean by that is, if you're looking for like a career change, or you're looking for a change in life, maybe like adding a new hobby, or joining meetup groups. Sometimes when we are impulsive and we want to make a quick transition, it's probably not the wisest decision to do. Like impulse buying, everybody does it. The one click on Amazon, you click once and now you own, for some reason, $1,000 juice blender that you didn't really need. You do it based on impulse. So step back a moment, step on the brake, and kind of consider whether or not this is the right option. Why do you want to become a real estate agent? What's the objective? And I personally believe that it should be more than money, but obviously money can be an extreme motivating factor in this decision. So once you've considered the options, you're going to have to really think about, okay, I'm making this decision. What's the next step? Well, in each state, it's different. Here in South Florida, it will require you to take a 60+ licensing course, either online or in real life. You will have to take a class exam, either online or real life. Then you'll have to pass a state exam. That's in real life, on a computer usually. So you're going to have to be comfortable with studying again. The concepts are not difficult. I recommend Gold Coast real estate schools, and they do other types of licensing as well, but they're thorough, they know the testing system, and they teach to the test to help you pass it. Once again, it does take some significant studying, and there's a bunch of other great tools and assets. With the real estate course, I recommend that I probably wouldn't do it online because I don't know their methodology. That's why I can just speak on what I've gone through. Gold Coast School, I've done, I've had great things with them in terms of my class, my experience. I'm not sponsored by them by any chance, but I'll put the link below in the description. So you've decided you're going to move forward. You sign up for the class, you get going on however method you're going to do, online or in real life. You also have to consider, can you live without a paycheck? What I mean by that is, are you going to jump into real estate full-time? Or are you going to do it part-time? And if you're going to do it full-time, how are you going to transition financially from one place to another? I'll give you my example. When I was a teacher, my wife and I had a significant amount in savings, And I made the transition. First of all, I started working as a real estate agent during the holiday breaks when I wasn't in school. And then I went into full time after the Christmas season, and we lived off our savings while I got my feet wet and I got started. And praise God that it worked out. You know, I'm still in the industry. But you need to consider whether or not your financial abilities now or responsibilities now are going to be able to survive during this lean time when you're going through real estate. Because many people think that they're going to instantly start make money. And unfortunately, I haven't found that to be true. Everything takes time and effort, and you have to learn the systems. You have to learn the contracts. You have to learn the MLS. You have to learn transaction desk. You have to learn how to show properties, Supras, title companies, inspection companies, how to work with them, what's an appraisal. And I'll make a video series based on each one of these to help you through this process, because my goal is to really just help and educate as much as I possibly can and bring as much value to you, because I kind of wish that I knew things that I know now back when I started. So if I can save you some grief, that's the main point. So once you've considered whether or not you can survive on your financial status at the current moment, then you take your next step. Maybe you do get that licensing course done. Maybe you do, figure out the path that you want to take, either part-time or full-time. So I made notes to keep me on track here. The other thing I put here was I usually would plan for about 6 months of salary or money set aside for you to live on. Because 6 months, usually you should be able to get something going in about 6 months. The other thing is, are you willing to commit the time needed for this venture? Real estate can gobble up majority of your time. When I first got into real estate, I was at the office, in my opinion, way too much. Spent way too much time away from the house. I was infatuated about it, almost to a negative. And I learned a lot very quickly that you have to be able to manage your time. Remember, time is that one asset you can never get back. You can make more money, but you can't make more time. So you have to figure out, how's this time gonna work? Am I going to work from home, or am I going to work when the kids are at school, or am I going to work at 5 to 9 and that's it? So you have to be a good management of time, because your phone will ring. You will get those emails. I recommend, the 4-hour work week. The concepts in that book are, I think, powerful. Working 4 hours a week. I don't really think that was the premise of Tim Ferriss's book, but it was more along the lines, It was more along the lines of, beginning to manage your time and understanding how that time is to be managed. Great tools, and I'll leave the link below for the book. Once again, I'm not sponsored by them, but anyways. Also, understanding, do you like people? So you've considered the time, how you're going to organize that, talk to your loved ones, your spouse, and the next question is, do you like people? What I mean by that is that real estate is a very people-person kind of interaction, because you're going to have to deal with the buyers, the sellers, the tenants, the commercial agents, the other realtors, title companies, appraisers, and people are buying your brand. They're buying who you are. They're buying into you because they believe that you can help them achieve their goal. And it took me years to get to where I'm at. But you have to ask yourself, do you like people? Because this is a very people-oriented business. If you don't like people, I'm not saying you can't learn it, because this is a skill that you can learn, but it may take a little more effort, and you may not be interested in doing that. So far we've talked about point of view, reviewing your options, the money aspect of things, full-time, part-time, and then also being a people person. I wrote a couple other notes down here because of the mere fact of, I wish I would have known this. So I recommend, these are Eddie the Tattooed Realtor's recommendations when becoming a realtor, if you're deciding to become a realtor. Number 1, save money. As you're gonna make this transition, save as much money as you can. Design your real estate business like a business. I've seen so many realtors just do things incorrectly because they just don't know. And it irritates me because these brokerages don't educate their agents to be true successes. Like, for instance, a 1099 is the worst thing in the world that you could ever go into, because now you're being double taxed, employment and income. It's worse than an LLC. I'm ranting here, but the whole point is, make sure to save your money so that you're prepared to ride the wave, and then also be sure that when you bring commissions in, that it's structured through a corporation so you have the tax incentives and the tax benefits. The next thing to consider is what I call the 2-year hill, okay? I say the 2-year hill because, like every hill, there's a process going up it, then you reach what they call the zenith, the top part, and then it comes back down. It kind of starts snowballing. Now in real estate, it is very like hilly, ups and downs throughout the market. It's more seasonal down here because, you know, when school gets back into session during the holidays, so on and so forth. But the 2-year hill, in my opinion, is if you can make it in real estate, living off purely your real estate income for 2 years, the referral business that you would have developed behind you by the people that you've assisted, because you want to cultivate those leads through various means, be it online, in person, social interaction, so on and so forth, will begin to then propel you into the following years, the preceding years. So the 2-year hill is definitely something to consider. When you go to take the class test, I have here written state exam. When you go to take the class test, be sure to analyze all the requirements. They do look for background issues. They do look, you know, there are sometimes language barriers. I know they offer the test in quite a few languages, but most of the contractual agreements in real estate is in English, like the contracts and such. They do sell a big book that is, you know, has multiple languages in it, but things can get lost in translation, and I don't want you to be hurt because maybe English isn't the best. So you might want to consider maybe having some classes in learning better English. That's just a thought. So the state exam, know the qualifications, sign up for it on time. Make sure that you apply. Once you start the licensing course, apply then. The professor, the teacher, whatever, should tell you to apply then, because the application process can take a couple weeks in order for you to get approval to take the state exam. So the last thing you want is to take the state or finish the class and then have to wait another month to take the state exam. That will be horrible, because now you're going to begin to forget. I mean, I would forget the stuff that I'm beginning to learn. The class is designed to teach you the laws and to protect the public. It does not teach you, or very little of it is about, like, you know, how the actual practices of real estate, how to make money in real estate. Something to consider. I'll make a later video about it because I know that's an interesting topic. You also have to decide when you're going into in the real estate world, what sort of brokerage you're going to want to belong to. When I say brokerage, I mean like the big names, Keller Williams, Remax, Coldwell Bankers, or the mom and pops, ABC Realty, Eddie Acevedo Realty. Not that doesn't exist, but the mom and pops. There are pluses and minuses to everything. My personal opinion is that brand, like the big boys, the Coldwells, Kais, Keller Williams, nothing against them. But I feel that they are inflated with these junk fees. So when considering your brokerage that you're joining, is number one, consider this, and I wrote this down for you. Do you want to go into a virtual office or a brick and mortar? Meaning, are you comfortable enough with being able to work on your own at home or in Starbucks or the library? I love the library anyway. But are you going to be able to work virtually, or do you need a brick and mortar? Do you need someplace physically to go? Because some real estate brokerages don't have a brick and mortar. It's just the wave of the future, right? The next thing to consider is the split. In real estate, there's vernacular, and I'll create a video about the vernacular. Split is talking about the commission split. Now, when you deal with splits, there are very small nuances that you have to be aware of, okay? Some brokerages, I won't name the names, but some brokerages, because they can vary from state to state, will create a split that renews every year. I'll give you an example. When you're starting as a new realtor, you might be at a 60-40 split, meaning 60% of the commission, let's say it's $1,000 commission, make numbers easy, 60% will come to you, $600, 40% will go to the brokerage, $400, because they're taking the time to train you and so on and so forth, I hope, right? And then once that happens, they say, okay, well, once you've done, X amount of dollars in real estate commission or sales, we'll bump you up to, 70-30 and then 80-20. And then, once you reach this number, you're up to 100%. But what they don't tell you is, or they don't explain properly, in my opinion, is they don't tell you down the road that it's going to restart. The clock's going to restart when you hit that year mark, regardless of the amount of commission that you have. Meaning you've proven your worth, but if you want to stay with that brokerage, you're going to go back, maybe not to that 60-40, but you're going to go back to that 70-30, and then you're going to start all over again. I get the strategy behind it. I just think it's misleading. I think it's just wrong to do. But once again, real estate brokerages do have to make money to survive. I mean, I do run a real estate brokerage, and I understand that, but I just think it's something to be aware of. The next thing you want to consider is hidden junk fees, or hidden fees and junk fees. What I mean by this is the crap that brokerages throw to the agents. Like, for instance, photocopies, color copies, franchise fees, which to me are the biggest freaking joke in the world, because franchise fees, like, you're paying for their antiquated marketing efforts, like that's really going to help you get a listing. You know, those fees, transaction fees, administrative fees, all these stupid fees that, you know, stack up to quite a bit. So really you think you're making 80-20, right? Or 90-10 or whatever. But when you start cutting in all these percentages, you're really making something like 90s, you know, like, what was it? Like, let's say like 90-10 when you think you're making 100%. So be conscious of the hidden junk fees and ask them straight up as you're interviewing. Put the comments below. I'd be more than happy. If you run into a question or you're not really sure, if I know the answer, I'll be more than happy to share it with you. If I don't know the answer, I'm gonna research it to help you find the answer, because education's the name of the game. So junk fees and hidden fees, you see that I'm a bit animated about this because it irritates me when I hear about these stories when people get taken advantage of. That's just plain and simple wrong, okay? The next thing to consider is the presence and support. That goes into the whole like big name brokerages versus the mom and pops. I personally believe that if you are confident in yourself and you have branded yourself, that it really, the brand doesn't matter. I own my own real estate brokerages. I don't belong to one of the big names. I don't think that when I go into a listing, or I know that when I go into a listing, if there's multiple realtors who are interviewing, I'm getting that listing, because I'm going in with the mentality that I'm not going there to interview, I'm going there to help them, because I know they have something that needs to be cured, the sale of their property, and I know I can do the best job for them, and it's proven. So presence, what kind of market presence? Support's a big one. The broker, my business partner and broker, who run the brokerage with me, is a huge support. He's a bulldog. He knows the contractual agreements better than anyone I've ever known, because he's been in the game since the 80s. So make sure that you have the proper support. I've seen so many agents go out there that, you know, are just kind of like in the wild west, not really knowing what to do. It's like, you know, would you hand somebody the keys to a car that I've never driven before? Of course not. But why are real estate brokerages doing this? So research the support. Heck, I'll be your support. You can ask me any question. I'm here to help you. The next thing to consider is training. Training is a huge factor, because you're gonna need to know, you're not gonna know anything coming out, because like I said, the class teaches you the laws of the land to protect the public. It does not teach you how to make money. So what kind of training is it? Is it online? Is it in person? I'm big in person. I mean, I love mentoring. So, you know, things like that. Also mentorship. You know, my goal and passion is to become a real estate mentor and a coach to help people to believe in themselves, to not make the mistakes that I've made, to take in the social media, to take in the advertising efforts that are really paying off now. So those are all things that I'm super passionate about. And last but surely not least, you want to tell everyone when you begin to make this transition that you're breaking into the real estate market. Your circle of influence is very important, and you got to be careful how you approach it, but you shouldn't be ashamed about what you're trying to get into. I believe in that. I believe in you. I don't even know you yet, but I believe in you because you've taken the effort to watch the entire length of this video, and because you want to learn. So once again, my name's Eddie, the Tattooed Realtor. You can find me on Instagram at Eddie_the Tattooed Realtor. Be sure to follow me. Be sure to subscribe and like to my channel. I would absolutely love it if you commented. I am so happy that you've taken the time to watch this video. And if I can be a blessing to you, please just reach out. So once again, have a great night or a great morning or a great afternoon whenever you're watching this video, and I'll talk to you later.